Welcome to the Career Dev Podcast, where we dive into the strategies, insights, and real-world experiences that help you navigate your career with confidence. Hi, I'm Dr. Tracy Shroyer. I'm your host, career coach, and professor, and I'm here to help you land the job that you want, grow in your profession, and take control of your career journey. Whether you're job searching, leveling up, or making a career pivot, you're in the right place. So let's get started. Welcome back to the podcast. I am Dr. Tracy Shroyer. I'm a career strategist, resume whisperer, and your guide through all things job search and professional positioning. Last week, we kicked off the series with a conversation about resume fatigue, why it's real, why it's not your fault, and how we can start shifting out of it with clarity and confidence. So today, we're going to continue that momentum with something I hear all of the time. But I thought I had to insert any outdated resume rule here. And we covered some of these before, having to put an objective, having to only use one page, lots of other rules that we've heard, and conflicting information. So we're going to bust some common myths. We are going to bust some common resume myths I hear and help you focus on what actually matters. So let's get started. Myth number 1, your resume should only be one page. Does this sound familiar? Here's the truth. Length is less important than clarity. If you're early in your career, one page might work really good. But if you've been working for 10, 15, 20 plus years, you are seriously doing yourself a disservice by cramming everything into one page with maybe an 8-point font. So instead of aiming for a page limit, let's aim to make sure that you have focus in your resume. You want to include only what's relevant to your next role and make sure that it is skimmable by the hiring manager or the recruiter. So let's move on to the second myth. Myth number 2 is that you need an objective statement. Nope, that advice is long gone. Objective statements are typically very vague, like you're seeking a challenging opportunity, and all about what you want. Employers want to know what you can do for them. What you can do instead of an objective statement is use a professional summary. Put that at the top and make sure that it clearly states your value, your specialty, and the role that you're targeting. So here's an example of something that you could use. Strategic marketing leader with 15 plus years of experience in healthcare and tech, known for driving brand growth and customer engagement across complex markets. Now, I know some people are saying, well, I don't know if I want to put 15 plus years of experience. You could put something like significant experience. I know age discrimination is something that many of my clients are afraid of. Now, that's much more powerful to have a professional summary with maybe a couple sentences in there that focus on, again, your value, your specialty, and the kind of role that you're targeting versus just some general statement that's taking up space on the page. So let's move on to myth number 3. This is where you may have been told to list all of the responsibilities that you had under each job on your resume. And this one really drives me nuts because it turns resumes into long, boring job descriptions. And that is not what you want. Your resume is not a task list. Let me repeat that. Your resume is not a task list. It is a highlight reel. You want to really focus on what are your accomplishments, what are the results, and what are the outcomes that you had. So instead of saying something like manage team meetings, which I always follow some of those bullet points like that by who cares, you could say in this instance, led weekly team stand-ups that improved project turnaround time by 20%. And one of the things that you'll learn in any of, whether it's the course, a program, or anything like that when we work together on resumes, is how to identify quantifiable accomplishments. And I know sometimes you may not have held on to, for your current role, for past roles, any of those percentages or scorecard items. So I talk a lot about whether it's one-on-one client, it's in the course, whatever that looks like, how to come up with these quantifiable statements and not making them up at all. But how do you come up with realistic ones that are going to be helpful and let the hiring manager or the recruiter know the value and what are some of the things that you can do and you can bring to the table. So let's talk about the fourth and final myth. And this is you should use fancy formatting to stand out. I get it. You want your resume to pop. I have played with some crazy formats in the past, and I look at them now and I'm like, what was I thinking? I will tell you, if you have access to Canva and you look at their resume formats, what are they thinking? In the US, you do not put your picture on your resume. Maybe graphic designers or maybe some creative type of role, but not a standard type of resume that you put together. Using graphics, text boxes, or columns might make it look good to the human eye, but those things can really break in applicant tracking systems, or those ATS that you hear about. This means that your resume may never make it to a human eyeball because that does something in the system to it. So you really want to stick with clean, modern formatting, simple fonts, bold headers, and clear section breaks. Remember, it's about being easy to read and not being flashy. So let's recap. So if you've been building your resume based on what you were told 10 years ago, or what you saw in a free template online, let this be your permission slip to propose. Forget the one-page rule. Ditch that objective statement. Don't list everything. Highlight specifically what matters. And keep the formatting simple and skimmable. Your resume should speak to where you're going and not just where you've been. Are you ready to learn a framework that actually works? If you're nodding along and you're thinking, okay, I really need to rethink this, I want to invite you to my free upcoming webinar. Rock Your Resume: How to Build a Resume that Reflects Who You Are and Gets Results. In this free webinar, we will dig into the biggest mistakes most people make on their resumes, the 4-part framework I use with my clients, and how to create a resume that finally gets traction in today's job market. You can save your spot by visiting tracyshroyerphd.com/job seekers. I'll also drop it in the show notes. So next week, we're going to talk about why most job seekers waste time applying to tons of different jobs and how your resume may be part of the problem. But for now, I hope this helped clear out some of the old rules that no longer served you. Your experience is valuable. Your story really matters, and your resume can absolutely reflect that. So I thank you for listening, and don't forget to register for the webinar. Until next time, keep going. You've got this. That's a wrap for today's episode of the Career Dev Podcast. I hope that you found inspiration, insights, and actionable steps to move your career forward. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could benefit. For more career tips and resources, connect with me, Dr. Tracy Shroyer, on LinkedIn, or visit my website at www.tracyshroyerphd.com. Thanks for tuning in. Keep growing, keep learning, and I'll see you on the next episode.